This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thanks for getting up with us on this Sunday morning. I'm Tim Gordon. This morning on Sunrise, opponents of Measure 114 have filed a federal lawsuit. It's the first challenge of its kind in Oregon, urging a judge to block the recently passed gun law. Plus, we'll hear from a local group on a mission to raise awareness about Oregon's addiction crisis. But before we get to all that, let's check in with Chris McGinnis for a quick look at the Saturday forecast. Chris?
Saturday? I'll take Saturday again, or Sunday.
Oh, darn it.
Sunday morning.
Every other week.
Good morning, and thank you for watching. Yeah, we are, get your cameras ready, right? We've got a gorgeous sunrise out there. Check out the spray coming off the breakers there. This from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. Cascade Head off in the distance. We'll switch gears. I said get your cameras ready. Look at that. There's a gorgeous sunrise over the Central Oregon Cascades. Mount Jefferson, the Three Sisters off in the distance, and not to be outdone, of course, Mount Hood there beaming in the early morning light here over downtown Portland. Some of us are seeing some fog, though. This is the east side of the gorge out near Oregon's Veterans Home in the Dalles, where temperatures are below freezing. We do have freezing fog out across the Columbia Basin this morning. 34 last check at PDX is 24 at Hillsborough. It's 1 below right now in Burns and 7 in Baker City. You will have a nice recovery in your temperatures east of the Cascades once the fog lifts. And here in Portland, I've got us mostly sunny, a little less wind today, with highs in the upper 40s. Tim?
All right, Chris, thanks a lot. Well, new this Sunday morning, a horrific case in Colorado. 5 people are dead after a gunman opened fire in a gay nightclub. 18 more people were injured. However, it was people inside that club who grabbed and subdued the suspect. He's been arrested and is now getting treated for some injuries. In a statement, the club's owners said, quote, "We thank the quick reactions and heroic customers that subdued the gunman and ended this hate attack." Police have not identified a motive yet for the shooting. Well, here at home, details remain scarce about a late night shooting at a hotel near the airport. We do know one person was shot at the Embassy Suites near PDX. We do not know their condition this morning. Now, this happened just after 9:30 last night. Investigators say 1 to 3 suspects fled the scene. Port of Portland police are in charge of this investigation, and we do expect to get some more details a little later this morning. A young woman who authorities think is about 17 years old was hit in a North Portland shooting. This was the scene along North Greeley Avenue near Ainsworth Street. Authorities found the victim there at about 8 p.m. However, they think the shooting happened somewhere else. We do not have an update on that victim's condition, but we will update you when we get more information on that. Well, this weekend, opponents of Oregon's new gun law have filed a federal lawsuit urging a judge to block it. The plaintiffs hope a judge will declare Measure 114 unconstitutional. On the other hand, supporters believe it will be upheld and move quickly through the courts. As Alma McCarty found out, this is the first time a challenge like this has happened in Oregon.
Since Election Day, gun sales in Oregon have soared, and sheriffs in some communities have voiced opposition to Measure 114, which narrowly passed with nearly 51% of the vote. The new gun law requires a 5-year permit, firearms training, and a federal background check to purchase a gun. It also bans the sale of magazines holding more than 10 rounds of ammunition.
This is about public safety, safe schools, safe communities, and it's been proven to save lives.
Now, Measure 114 faces another hurdle. Late Friday, the Oregon Firearm Federation, the Sherman County Sheriff, and a Marion County gun store owner filed a lawsuit against Governor Kate Brown and the state's Attorney General, specifically taking issue with the magazine ban. In the suit, they claim millions of law-abiding Americans own firearms equipped with this technology, calling them standard-issue magazines, not large capacity. Plaintiffs say the ban violates their Second Amendment rights and the right to due process. The lawyer representing the gun rights group writes, banning magazines over 10 rounds is no more likely to reduce criminal abuse of guns than banning high-horsepower engines is likely to reduce criminal abuse of automobiles, and that the only thing the ban contained in 114 ensures is that a criminal unlawfully carrying a firearm with a magazine over 10 rounds will have a potentially devastating advantage over his law-abiding victim. But Reverend Dr. Mark Knutson with Lift Every Voice Oregon, the group behind the ballot measure, disputes the assertion that 114 infringes on the constitutional rights of Oregonians.
Those who already have them, it already says it. If they would keep them, they could use them on their property or at shooting ranges. So nobody's taking away anybody's guns or their magazines.
He said in drafting the measure, the Interfaith Coalition worked with gun owners, hunters, and law enforcement to make the law equitable, reasonable, and just.
51% may have passed this, but I could see 70% in a year and a half saying this makes all the sense in the world, and that number will grow over time because we will see a real difference.
Now to Portland's Old Town, where authorities say they seized thousands of fentanyl pills and made more than a dozen arrests after a major joint operation against alleged drug traffickers. This is video from Portland police of a two-day mission they say took place last Tuesday and Wednesday. Authorities say they seized thousands of fentanyl pills, $5 grand in cash, a gun, and a stolen car. They also made 14 arrests. Captain James Crooker says the mission helps restore a sense of safety and livability in Old Town. The Portland Police Bureau had help from the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office and federal partners.
We've been planning this for a few weeks, and we're trying to get back into the game of enforcement with our partners. This is not just something that we do as the Portland Police Bureau or even as Central Precinct. Everybody's short-staffed, so we lean and rely on our partners.
Well, police say drug trafficking in the neighborhood has been linked to a recent uptick in violence. They say on top of this operation, the officers who have returned to patrol the entertainment district on weekend nights have also made a big difference. Well, to raise awareness about Oregon's addiction crisis, a group called Oregon Moms for Addiction Recovery staged a rally in Northeast Portland. The group does an event like this every month. Many of the people here are parents who lost children because of addiction.
You know, we got to do this for our kids. You know, this is Oregon Moms for Addiction Recovery, and I got my kid out here, you know, and if my kid has a substance use disorder, I don't want her waiting to get into treatment. We need to have on-demand treatment for our kids. We're losing too many kids to fentanyl right now, so that's the point we're trying to get across. We got to do it for our kids.
Oregon Moms for Addiction Recovery says we can end the crisis by educating communities and policymakers, along with supporting families and their loved ones who suffer from addiction. Well, a new report gives us a better idea of just how many people are homeless in Portland. The final version of 2022's point in time count also shows the majority of them have been homeless for more than a year. Blair Best breaks it all down.
It's been really, really hard.
Year after year.
I just turned 60 on Halloween.
Stuck in a cycle with no clear way out.
And every time you try to get forward, something will come and just snag you right back, you know, because we've been trying to be just about there. We're just about out, and, you know, it sucked us back in.
This section of Northeast 33rd Drive, now the closest thing to home for Shelby Ryan.
I think it was.
She became homeless.
This is Miss Molly.
After her husband passed away.
Hi, Miss Molly. You lose everything because you can't think. And then you end up here. Yeah.
Her story isn't unique. Ryan is one of the more than 3,000 chronically homeless people in Portland. Being chronically homeless means living on the streets with a disability for more than a year.
That's why we've kept expanding. It's why we've refined our shelter models.
The county's Joint Office of Homeless Services works to get people like Ryan off the streets. Last year, it helped more than 4,000 people leave homelessness. Yet the problem keeps getting worse. In 2015, 20% of people in shelter were chronically homeless. This year, that grew to 65%. And that's not including those living outside.
In a world where you can literally help 4,560 people end their homelessness and you still see what we see, it goes to show that there are other forces at play here, and it's really challenging.
Half their budget now goes toward expanding and operating shelters. They've opened motels, safe rest villages, and congregate shelters, all of which are out of the question for many.
But I mean, if you're going to make us go to a prison or these teeny tiny little homes that is like not even the size of my back of my pickup truck, it's not going to work. These people are it's not going to follow up.
Which is one of the reasons they're still here, year after year.
The people come down and they want to help you in different agencies and resources. And they really, really, really do it, and we thank them so much. But then when it comes down to it, they come by one time, talk to us, and never come back.
Some of the things are just really backwards. I just don't get it out here. I mean, sometimes I just want to just walk out the door and just walk away from it all and just let it all go, you know?
Blair Best reporting there. Well, the Point in Time report goes on to say that ending homelessness will come from focusing on the factors that push people out onto the streets in the first place. That's things like rising rents, racial injustice, and physical and behavioral health problems. We'll be right back.